जय श्री Prabhupada की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् Bhagavatam की नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयिता नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत् सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. So we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 82, titled Krishna Meets the Inhabitants of Vrindavan. Okay, here there is no translation here. There is Hindi translation at the back, I think. Okay. So here in this chapter, Lord Krishna is meeting the inhabitants of Vrajadam. So I was asked to read from verse number 7 to number 18. Let's see how much time we have. So text 7 and 8. Which is one? 78 is on the board, okay. Okay. Teratai devadisyadbe Haishchatara pravaye Gajenadbir abrabaye Nirbir vyadaradyubhihi Vyaruchanta Mahateja Pati Kanchana Malina Divastrak Vastras Sanaha Karatre Kicharaiva. Someone else want to try with your good Sanskrit? Anybody else want to chant? Translation. The mighty Yadavas passed with great majesty along the road. They were attended by their soldiers who rode on chariots, rivaling the airplanes of heaven, on horses moving with rhythmic gait, and on billowing elephants as huge as clouds. Also with them were many infantrymen as effulgent as celestial Vidyadharas. The Yadavas were so divinely dressed, being adorned with gold necklaces and flower garlands, and wearing fine armor, that as they proceeded along the road with their wives, they seemed to be demigods flying through the sky. Text number 9. Tatasnata Mahabhaga Upas is not on the board. Is also on the board? Huh? He's not repeating. Okay. So text number 9, Tatra Snatra Mahabhaga Uposyasu Samabhitaha Brahmanebhyo Dadurdenu Vasasrak Rukma Malini. Translation. In accordance with, at Samanta Panchaka, the saintly Yadava bathed and then observed a fast with careful attention. Afterward, they presented brahmanas with cows bedecked with garments, flower, garlands, and gold necklaces. Text number 10. Rama Radisu Vidivat Puna Apluta Vishaya Dudushu Anvanam Digavidebhya Krishna no Bhakti Rastuti. In accordance with scriptural injunction, the descendants of Vrishni then bathed more in Lord Parashurama's lake and fed first-class brahmanas with sumptuous food. All the while they prayed, "May we be granted devotion to Lord Krishna." There's one sentence purport. This second bath marked the end of their fasting, and on the following day. Text number 11. Swayam chadaranugyata Vrishaya Krishna Devata Bhaktyo Visuddhakamam Snigachaya Kripa Grishu. Then, with the permission of Lord Krishna, their sole object of worship, the Vrishnis ate breakfast and sat down at their leisure beneath trees that gave cooling shade. Text 12 and 13. Tratagam tedavustashu surit Sambadino nirpam Matyo sinara kaushalya Vidabakuru Srinjayan Kamboja kaikanan matran Kuti anata keralan Anyam sai chevatma pakshiyan Paramstra santaso nirpam Nadadim surido gopam gopi Chakshanitis chiram. Translation 12 and 14. Yadavas saw many of the kings who had arrived were old friends and relatives. The Matsyas, Usnaras, Kausalas, Vidarbhas, Kurus, Srijayas, Kambojas, Kaikayas, Madras, Mantis, and the kings of Anarta and Kerala. They also saw many hundreds of other kings, both allies and adversaries. In addition, my dear King Parikshit, they saw their dear friends, Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men and women who had been suffering in anxiety for so long. Text number 14. Anyanya Sudarsana Anyana Sudarsana Sarahasa Pati Purarit Prakasararu Asmiya Asistaganda Nasas Sarajala Risya Tvachoru Dagiro Yayun Mudam. Translation, text number 14. As the great joy of seeing one another made the lotuses of their hearts and faces bloom with fresh beauty, the men embraced one another enthusiastically, with tears pouring from their eyes, the hair of their bodies standing on end, and their voices choked up. They all felt intense bliss. Text number 15. The women glanced at one another with pure smiles of loving friendship, and when they embraced, their breasts smeared with saffron paste pressed against one another, and their eyes filled with tears of affection. Text number 16. They all then offered to their elders and received respect in turn from their younger relatives. After inquiring from one another about the comfort of their trip and their well-being, they proceeded to talk about Krishna. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumidam Jenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, this verse ends with purport, but there were so many that I didn't read the purport. So I'll read the purport. These are the special dealings of Vaishnavas. Even the family entanglement that delude ordinary conditioned souls, even the family entanglements that delude ordinary conditioned souls are no encumbrance for those whose family members are all pure devotees of the Lord. Impersonalists have no capacity for appreciating these intimate dealings, since their philosophy condemns as illusory and any kind of personal, emotional existence. When followers of impersonalism pretend to understand the loving relationships of Krishna and his devotees, they only create havoc for themselves and whoever listen to them. So this is purport by the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, which is spot on to the verse how the dealings of Vaishnavas are so important. They say that even in the family entanglements that delude ordinary conditioned souls are no encumbrance for those whose family members are all pure devotees of the Lord. Impersonalists have no capacity for appreciating these intimate dealings. So it just reminds me what I was saying yesterday in the evening, how mostly religions, they borrow from four philosophies. One of them is impersonalism, and then the other one is personalism. And then the third one is mystic yoga. And then the fourth one is monism. So when you study different religions, they borrow their teachings from these four philosophies. So here, the point is made that the impersonalist cannot understand these dealings of devotees. To them, appear to be some sentimentalism. Yes. Because of different taste and different beliefs. So this reminds me, the Bhagavatam, when you do Bhakti Vedanta, the first part of it, for exam, there is a question that comes out. When you write exam, a question will be like, what is the meaning? Please explain the significance of the word Satyakrit. And then the answer to that question is that the Mayavadi philosophers say that this material world is mithya. Mithya means that it is false. This is what they believe. This material world is mithya, it is false. But we understand that whatever is created by Satyakrit, the Lord is Satyakrit, the absolute truth, cannot be false. Om Punam Punam Adab. Usthapana says that everything that is manifest in this world. So the Lord is perfect. Therefore, everything that is created by Him also is perfect. But in Mayavadis, they say that this is an illusion. Mithya, false. Why? Because of the, what they call, aversion that they have developed towards the Lord. That's what they call Mayavadi. Mayavadi, they are covered by illusion. So they see illusion in everything. So the Supreme Lord created everything. Satyam Param. So He's truth. And then everything that He created is true. It's not some illusion, as the Mayavadi thing. So this is a point that is made in this purport. Yet, just like the cause of the creation is Satya, truth. So the effect also has to be Satya, or truth. So this is the conclusion of the Vaishnavas. That seeds everything is created by the Supreme, who is Satya, truth. And then everything has some truth in it. So this is the point that is made here. And there are so many points made here. But the idea is that we are dealing with the meeting of the Yadavas with all other kings who came from different kingdoms to observe a fast during the moon eclipse at Kurukshetra. So this is what we call Prayashchitam. Prayashchitam means to purify yourself when there is an inauspicious period, like the moon eclipse brings about inauspicious. So that is called Prayashchitam. So Prayashchitam, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, can be done in three ways. Through karma, Prayashchitam, jnana, Prayashchitam, and bhakti, Prayashchitam. So karma, Prayashchitam is what normally is called in India Chandrayana. You know Chandrayana? People will fast during the waning and the waxing of the moon. So this type of Prayashchitam, Chandrayana, it helps someone to kind of like stop the influence of his past bad karma. But it does not stop the desire to commit those paps that led to bad karma. And also it does not stop ignorance, avidya remain. And then the next Prayashchitam, jnana Prayashchitam, it can stop the influence of our pap reactions. It can also remove the desire to commit those papic actions which lead to suffering. But avidya, the ignorance which is the cause of desire, and papic actions remain. So the jnana Prayashchitam involves a lot of confession. And then in bhakti Prayashchitam, when one engages in bhakti, everything stops. Why? Because the root cause of avidya, ignorance, which is the cause of desires which lead to sinful activities, is aversion towards the Lord. When the Jivatma decides, I am going to live separately from the Lord, and then the first thing that happens, avaranatmika, prakshapatmika. Material nature covers his knowledge about his original position as the servant of the Lord, and then pulls him and binds him into this imprisonment of material nature. That is explained by Krishna also, Bhagavad-gita chapter 15. How does it go? Mamai vamso jiva loke jiva bhutta sanatana manaha sastrandhyani prakritishtani karshati. That the jivas are karshati, they are parts of me. But in conditional life, they are struggling with the mind and the senses. So that is life of bondage. So the same jiva who is struggling with the mind and his senses, when he engages that mind and the senses in devotional service, The same mind become the key to liberation. Huh? It's just like Maharaj Parikshit. He was a king. Bhagavatam explains, Jivitam Maranam Jantur Swenaiva Karmana, that the Jiva create his problems, his happiness and unhappiness, and his destination to next life by Swenaiva Karmana, by his actions. So Maharaj Parikshit, he offended one sage, Somakarishi. As a result of that, he was cast. And then this verse was spoken by Brihaspati to the son of Parikshit, who wanted to revenge for the killing of his father by the snake Takshaka. Said, no, your father caused his destination. Vinaiva karmana. So in that way, pradatta sukha dukkhayo, no one is responsible for anyone else's happiness and distress. So prayashchitam helps the living beings to clear all the bad karma and cause of their actions in the material world. So, coming back to this, that's a reason why many kings, including the Yadavas, came to Kurukshetra. They came for Prayashchitam, to engage in yajna, dana, and many activities that are said to be purifying. So it says here, after performing different rituals, they were also meditating on Lord Krishna. They fed brahmanas, gave charity, like that. So these are the activities of Prayashchitam. So this is how the living entities live in the material world. So when the living entities engages in Bhakti Prayashchitam, everything is cleared. Even just by chanting the name Hare, everything becomes clear. Yes. It's just like example in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 6th canto, there is Ajamil, who was most perfect person. He was robbing people, he was doing so many things. For many years. When he was dying, he saw the Jamadutas coming for him. And then he cried out, and he called upon his son who was playing nearby, Narayan. And by the servants of Narayan they came. And they stopped the Yamadutas. The Yamadutas are saying, no, this is our man. we have come to take him. This man is very sinful. The Vishnudutas said, no. Now he has become cleansed of all his sinful reactions. So that's the power of the holy name. That Jamil, even though he had a big pile of pap, but just by calling the name of Narayanan, everything was cleared right in front of the Yamadutas, and they could not take him to Narakaloka. So that way, that's another example of Bhakti Prayashchitam. Even chanting the holy name releases the living entity. So here, the Yadavas and many other kings, they came to do that Prayashchitam at Kurukshetra. Then another point here is that sometimes people wonder why Krishna performed some pastimes which are very difficult to understand. Yes. So in the In the Bhagavatam, there is a word, Duranta Shakti, in 7th canto. When you study Bhaktivedanta, you'll remember, because all these words come out when you do exams. So they have to be in your memory. Yes. Duranta Shakti means that, or refers to the Lord as someone whose potencies and activities are very difficult to understand. Therefore, Duranta Shakti. Now, how can they be understood? Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, chapter 9, verse 31, it gives us a clue as to how we can understand Duranta Shakti. It says, how does it go? Jnana parama guyamme yad vijnana samanvita. Sarahasyam tat angam cha grihana girhana gatitam maya. Jnana means knowledge. Jnana means knowledge. Guyam means confidential. Is confidential. And Krishna says, knowledge about me is, as it is given in the scripture, is confidential. How it can be understood? Rasa Hasyam. It can be understood in conjunction with devotional service or with devotion. So by following the process of devotion, and then one can understand the potencies of the Lord and His activities. So this verse was given as instruction to Lord Brahma, how he should proceed in his duties. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote a small commentary called Sri Krishna Samhita. That is his commentary on Bhagavatam. And he only commented on the 6 verses of Bhagavatam. Verses 29, 30, 34, 33, 34, 35, 36. Plus this verse. 29, 31. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his commentary, he says that Rasahasyam, with devotion, refers to the activities of the Lord and living entities, which can be said to be the science of love. Very, very interesting, huh? So Bhakti refers to the activities of the Lord and the living entities, which can be said to be the science of love. So what we are hearing here now, the relationship, the greeting, the meeting of the Yadavas and the Gopals of Raj, headed by Nanda Maharaj, is what we call the activities that can be referred to be the science of love, because they are based on loving relationships between the different devotees. So, the science of love, what does it mean when Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the Rasahasyam, or devotion with devotion, means the activities of the Lord and the activities of the living entities, which can be said to be the science of love. In simple terms, love in this regard refers to the emotion. Bhakti is about emotions. Bhakti is a yoga of feelings. Bhakti is a yoga of caring about Krishna. Bhakti means the feelings of caring about Krishna. Also, the feelings of caring about other devotees. Yes. We will see here when the Yadavas meet the resident of Vrindavan how these feelings are just pouring out genuinely. Yes. So that's what Bhakti means. It means the feelings of caring for Krishna or caring for Krishna's devotees. So that's what we call rasa hasyam, with devotion. I can be understood. And then, of course, there's different explanations. Let's see if we have time. Sometimes, time just runs color. So, the Greek people, the Greek philosophers, they explain that there are like 8 types of love. One of them is called philia. Philia means affectionate love between people who are friends. There is emotion. There are emotions of affection also amongst friends. That is called philia. The love that is experienced in friendship. The example is in the previous chapter. Is it the previous chapter? The previous chapter says it's Krishna blessing Sudama. The other one before that is chapter 80. There, Sudama travels to Dwarka. So when Sudama arrives at Dwarka, Krishna is seeing him from far. And he could tell, oh, this is Sudama, my old friend. And he left the couch where he was sitting. He was sitting with Rukmini Devi, actually on bed. And then he rushed towards Sudama. He embraces Sudama, who is deadly looking. Having traveled from Porbandhan to Dwarka, from Porbandhan to Dwarka, it's a long distance. By car, it took me 4 hours. So Sudama was walking. He didn't have a Toyota like myself. He had to walk. So when he arrived at Dwarka, he was sweaty and dusty. But Lord Krishna took pleasure in embracing him. And then he brought him into his bedroom, set him on his bed, washed his lotus feet, and sprinkled water on his head. So everybody at Dwarka is wondering, who is this person that our Lord is worshipping? Who is this poor Brahmin? Yeah. And then after that, Lord Krishna sat Sudama and fed him sumptuously. And then after Sudama had rested or had eaten nicely, and then Krishna began to say, you remember our time in Gurukul. You remember one night we went out being sent to collect firewood, and there was a heavy storm, there was rain, we could not find our path back to the ashram. We just sat there all night long, shivering. Sudama said, yes, I remember those days. So this is the philia, the love that is experienced in friendship. This love comes from the hardship that friends went through, whether in school or in some life. So when they meet, those memories become more and more relishable. So this is a kind of friendship that was experienced between the resident of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda Maharaj, and Yadavas. So they will discuss how, when they were all suppressed by cancer, they went into hiding. So there was no time for meeting friends and relatives. Yeah, they were also kind of reminiscing to that time during Kamsa's rule, how they were all suppressed, so they were unable to visit relatives like Nanda Maharaj and others. So that is love between friends. So in that way, devotional service is Anandam Bodhi Vardhanam. It's like an ocean. In this ocean, there are many gems. You can, as you dive deeper, you find pearls and many other gems underneath the ocean. So devotional service is like that. So these pastimes of meetings between the devotees of Krishna, the Pandavas, the Yadavas and Nanda Maharaj and many other friends and relatives, they are also part of Krishna's potencies. So it is said that Yoga Maya has two aspects. One is Unmukhi Mohini, and then the other one is Mugdha. The first one refers to her potency, which she uses to bring Lord Krishna together with his devotees and have them performing pastimes. And Mugdha is the potency by which Yogamaya makes Krishna and his devotees forget who they are during those pastimes. So in that way, these pastimes become more and more relishable just by the arrangement of Yogamaya. So here, the Yadavas are meeting with the resident of Vrindavan. Also, in the beginning of the 10th canto, Prabhupada explains that actually Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva, they were brothers. But Nanda Maharaj was born from the Vaishya, wife of his father, whereas Vasudeva, mother was Kshatriya. So then later on, Nanda Maharaj became a king of the Vaishya community of Raj. But by origin, he is also a brother to Vasudeva. That's why when Vasudeva was harassed by Kamsa, he sent Mother Rohini to Nanda Maharaj in Braj and Balaram, or Krishna Balaram also. Krishna came later. So in that way, they are related. It's just that Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya and Vasudeva was Kshatriya. Yes, they were just separated by duties. But actually, by origin, they originate from the same father. So the Yadavas, they originate from King Yayati. King Yayati, he married the daughter of Shukracharya, but he made a mistake by impregnating the friend of the daughter of Shukracharya, Samishta. Shukracharya's daughter was Devayani. So Devayani went back to Shukracharya to complain that this Yayati slept with her friends and got her pregnant. And Shukracharya immediately became very angry. He cursed him. You become old so that your sex gratification will be stopped. Yeah, this is a very heavy father-in-law. Immediately become invalid, you rascal. So Yayati was very frightened. Immediately became old man. Can you imagine? He became frightened. Oh yes, please. I am not done with my business of sense gratification. Please be merciful to me. And then he said, okay, go and look for someone young and exchange your old age with him. So Yayati, when he left the house of Sukrachara, he thought of his sons. He had 5 sons. The eldest one was called Yadu. So when he approached Yadu, wanting to exchange his old age, Yadu looked at him and said, what's wrong with you? You have become old naturally. I'm a young person. What makes you think that I can just, give my youth to you? So, and then he went to the next son. They said no. And then finally he came to the young son, who was called Puru. Immediately he accepted. Yes, I got this body from you. You are my father. I will sacrifice everything for you. So he gave Yayati his youth. And then Yayati continued being a king. For sometimes, at some later stage, he got tired of ruling kingdom and enjoying life in the material world. And he went back to Puru, gave him his youth back, and made him king. But Yadu was cursed that his descendants will not be king because he refused to offer his youth to Yayati. So he blessed Puru. So as a result of that, the Yadavas were not kings. Even Lord Krishna, when he was king at Dwaraka, he was not a coronated king. He was just honorarily a king, but he was never coronated. Whereas the lineage of Puru, like Ugrasena and others, they were king. So the Yadus remained princes. They didn't become kings because of that incident. So be careful of father-in-laws. Don't mess around with the father-in-law. You can curse your whole generations. So these are the pastimes. Yes, in the Bhagavatam. So thank you very much. So we'll stop here and see if anyone has questions. No questions, okay? TK, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki. Okay, I would like to thank the Mumbai Yatra for hospitality and the care that they've given me today. I'll be leaving Mumbai for Delhi. And I will meet you again next year because my flight to Nairobi is from Mumbai on the 14th of April next year. I'll come back and we will meet for a few days before my flight back to Nairobi. Thank you, Hare Krishna.